I have to also say, like, I don't want to speak as I'm speaking my truth in the things that I'm saying. I'm definitely not speaking down upon my parents because I really love them, and we've largely made up for everything. I was made fun of a lot when I was a kid about the fact that, like, I mean, my nickname was like, I'm not gonna say the nickname, but basically I was made fun of.
Mayowa, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you for having me.
We met the other day at the Soulfood house. Latanya, yeah. I called her Latoya before, and she let it go. She let it go.
She's really laid back. So,
and I get to meet with her. I'm meeting with her this evening.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we do. I do another podcast. We're doing number 2 with her.
Oh, really?
Number 2, the second one, because the first one, I talk about people's lives and stuff, and I understand you have something very unique.
Oh, like part 2 of?
Well, not part 2. Some people I have on more than one time.
Oh, cool.
If I'm lucky, if they're willing to come back a second time after I butchered them the first time, they may not want to come back a second time. Anyway, so we met there, and you with a very dear friend of mine's daughter, and I said, hey, let's come over here because you've been here for 5 years in Japan.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you get here? I mean, I know how you got here. I mean, why did you decide to come to Japan?
Okay, so, wow, good question. So actually, a lot of stuff happened before I moved here. I actually wasn't on like the best terms with my family. They kind of like threw me in the garbage, kind of. And I felt like, why am I here in the United States? And on top of that, I was also, so long story short, I had been studying science. And I was actually in a PhD program for cellular biology and molecular physiology. And I decided to quit because I hated it. Not because I couldn't do it, because I'm the kind of person that I do not like to quit. And I don't like to quit when I'm down. So the first thing that I did was, I remember the first term I failed the foundations class. And I was like, okay, what should I do? Should I quit now? And I was like, because I got a lot of weird comments. The director of the program, who looked different than myself, called me into his office and he said, seems like you're not really doing well. I think we need to have a discussion. Okay, let's see what buttons we need to press in order to get you to be more productive. Okay, well, I like football. Do you like football? And I said, no. He said, well, I like football. That's the first thing, is just not listening. I like football. And I watch it and I watch the games, but I wouldn't try out for the team because I know that I'm not built for something like that. And it's kind of like you in this PhD program. It's not for everybody. And that was the moment that I was like, oh no, I'm definitely not gonna quit now. Because I'm like, you think that I can't do it? No. So I was going through a lot of stuff with my, like, the rift between myself and my family, as well as trying to get through a PhD program. And a year later, I had to retake that course. That same exam, I still have the exam to this day. It just has like, my grade was so bad, it was an outlier on the graph of all the other grades. And the next year, I had to take the exam for that first part of the course, and I got an A. And that's the day that I decided to quit. I was like, oh, I could do this. I just don't want to.
Where were you born?
Where?
Yes.
I was born in California, Pomona, California. I lived there till I was 11.
Okay.
And I had a good childhood.
Do you have siblings?
I have 2 siblings. I have an older brother and an older sister. I'm the youngest.
How many years difference?
My sister's 7 years older than me. My brother's 9 years older than me. So I'm 20. I'm 30, actually. I just turned 30.
Nice. And by the same 2 parents?
Yeah.
Okay. And your parents are still alive?
Yeah, my parents are still alive and still together.
Okay. Now you told me earlier your father's from where?
My dad is from Nigeria.
Okay. And
yeah,
your mother?
And my mom is African American. It's a black, interesting thing to like. I used to always say I'm half African, half black, and I feel like people had a weird reaction to that because they're like, "Oh, so you're just black?"
Right. In America.
Culturally, I'm mixed. Is like, at least from the influence of, like, I'm like, this is not a hard concept to understand.
Where was your mother born?
My mom was born in Detroit, but she immediately moved to, I think, like Louisiana, and then, yeah, I think it was like in the South. Like she lived with my aunt and my uncle, because there's 3 of them as well.
Okay.
My mom, my aunt, and my uncle. My mom is the oldest, and they lived in like a really nice house with like a
In Louisiana. Do you know where in Louisiana?
I don't remember.
Because my father's from Louisiana.
Oh really?
Yeah, Shreveport.
Oh wow.
So when your mother looks at this, if you're from Shreveport, we might know each other if your family's from there. So your mother's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
But it's usually the other way around. People leave the South to go to Detroit.
Really?
She was in Chicago, Detroit, or
I think. Well, I know that my grandfather was a part of like.
But a lot of people, they did have a big movement back to the South too.
Okay, I think that maybe he was.
South,
they were part of that. My grandfather was on the police force.
Okay.
I know, like after that they moved to LA. I was telling you about that. Like, so they lived like in Inglewood area.
Inglewood, but I thought you said Pomona.
No, I was born in Pomona.
You were born in Pomona.
But I'm talking about my mom and my grandfather, and when she was a kid.
Okay, all right.
They lived in LA.
Okay.
And then basically, as she kind of got older, she kind of moved out of LA and tried to go to a better area, like out of the hood.
Okay.
And
because she was in Compton.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I have to also say, like, I don't want to speak as I'm speaking my truth in the things that I'm saying. I'm definitely not speaking down upon my parents, because I really love them, and we've largely made up for everything that happened. Okay. It was just that was genuinely what brought me to Japan. We had a humongous rift, and we weren't talking for like 2 years. Me, my mom, my sister, my brother. So I'm like, why am I here?
So they were all on their side?
Yeah, they were all.
You were the outlier.
And I was the outlier.
Okay, let me ask this. Let me take you through your childhood real quick. Okay. So when you grew up in Los Angeles, I'm sorry.
So I was born in Pomona and immediately moved to Rancho Cucamonga, which is like not that far. You know where that is?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I'm from LA. I mean, I'm from LA.
Oh yeah, okay. So you know Cali. Not everybody knows Cali area.
Right. So you moved out there to the suburbs, we call it. So you moved out there, and you grew up there until age what? I grew up there until I was 11. So like, to be honest with you, I have a lot of good memories of my family. My brother, my sister, my mom, and my dad being there in the pool in the backyard. But I don't really have any memories outside of that because I didn't have any friends. Okay, all right. So then you left there at 11. Then where'd you go from there? I went to Maryland. With your family? My brother and my sister are much older than me, right? Right. So the year that I moved to Maryland, both of them were already in college. Okay. Right. So for me, my life started at that point. Right. It feels like my life started at that point. But did you move with your parents? Yeah. So the three of you went to Maryland. Yeah, I just became an only child basically, and was just raised by my mom and my dad. What'd your father do? My dad works for the American Postal Workers Union. Okay. And your mother? And my mom was she took care of us, but she also would do. I mean, she's done so many different things. Like she got her associates in Spanish, which is why I love foreign languages. She did real estate at one point. Yeah, she's just kind of like a jack of all trades. Right, but your father kept with the post office. Yeah, he's like a really, really high up position in the American Postal Workers Union. I was made fun of a lot when I was a kid about the fact that my nickname was I'm not gonna say the nickname, but basically I was made fun of. Okay. And I moved to Maryland, and I realized that oh my goodness, I don't look so different from everybody anymore, because I was the only black kid in a predominantly white neighborhood in Rancho. Oh. And then I moved to Maryland, and the teasing just completely ceased. There was no such thing. No, it was so I was wait, so that's why there's not even point in speaking into it, because it's literally not an insecurity anymore. It's just oh, everybody looks like this, so it was really, I think that was really, yeah. I just felt who were some of your first friends then? Ooh. Come on, because you get to Maryland now, and you're out in the front yard playing with ball or something, or whatever you're doing. Okay, thank you for that. You just reminded me of who my first friend was. His name was Michael Coons. Okay. And he lived 2 doors down from me. All right. Was he black kid? He was not. Okay, what was But he had a black lab. Okay, all right. Oh, no, so he was, it's actually kind of a beautiful thing, because I didn't have any friends when I was in California. But here I am now, and I feel like Maryland was so diverse. I felt
it always felt collective, no matter what you look like. So his mom and his dad treated me with so much kindness and respect, and they were so close to my parents. We didn't like all meet and stuff like that. It's just it was like every Friday I'd come home from school, I'd get a phone call from Mike. He's like, "You want to come over?" He said yes. His parents would buy us pizza, and we just play video games. And I just never had a friend like that, So
were you good academically in LA? Were your grades good?
I was, yeah. I've always been. Well, okay, so it's me, and my sister, my brother, right? I would say my sister's the one who just gets things immediately. I would say like me and my brother is a little bit harder for us, and I think that I'm somewhere in the middle of the two of them. I think that I just don't give up. I wouldn't call myself smart by the word and the way that people think. Like you give me a problem, I'm not going to solve it immediately. It might take me 4 times as long as someone else, but I will take that time to solve the problem. I'm like, they can solve it. I can solve it too. That's why I was able to get okay to good grades, because I didn't know the questions, sometimes I wouldn't get it. So I would get A's and B's and maybe 1 C. I was never allowed to get more than 1 C.
By your parents?
My dad, yeah. Like it's a Nigerian thing. I mean, I think a lot of Nigerian people, if they're watching,
they'll relate to it.
They'll relate and know you don't want to get that flame. Like, so my dad was really nice. He would actually give me money for my grades. So he would give me $20 if I got an A. He would give me $10 if I got a B, and a lecture if I got a C. So, yeah. So I basically just didn't get C's because I didn't want to hear any lectures. So
that's all the way through elementary school?
All the way through the end of college.
College?
My brain is programmed to think I can't get more than 1 C. But I basically didn't get C's until maybe my last semester of college. I got 1 C, and it's because it was senior year.
But did you do any kind of sports and stuff in LA? Did you play? You had no friends, so you didn't do anything. So what did you do? You went home and watched TV and played games?
And I mean, when I was 7, I started singing.
Okay.
Because my mom and I were in the car, and Mary?
Yes.
So they have a song called Be Happy. And I remember the day my mom was driving, and she was in the front seat, and I'm a kid, so I had to sit in the back seat.
Now, how old were you?
I was 7, I think.
Okay.
And she's just like, Mayowa. I'll never forget, her and I were talking about this the other day, but she turned around to me in the car and just started singing the songs to me. She's like, I want you to sing this part. And then I sang, and then she sang with me, and what she sang was different, but it sounded good. And that was my mind learning the concept of harmony.
Right.
And from that day, I was addicted to that. So every time a song would be playing in the car, I would harmonize to it. And my sister and brother used to be like, Mayowa, shut up. Like, you can't hear the song. And I'm like, yes, you can. I'm just adding to it. So I never stopped, I love singing so much. Like so much.
So she really pushed that in you? So did you join, were you guys church people? Did you get involved in church?
We were going, like my family is very, very Christian. I have my own mindset that might be a little bit different than them, but I feel like definitely Christianity was a humongous foundation, and I would say like a guiding force and light in my life. And so we didn't go to the type of church that had we didn't go to the type of church that had a choir.
Okay, so you didn't do that.
But we had a worship team. Right. So I still loved harmonizing with them, and I always wanted to be on worship team.
You were one of the what?
I always wanted to be on worship team. Okay, I wasn't.
So you never were. So you left LA. You got to Maryland. Mm-hmm. You never sang on the worship team.
No, but in Cali, I remember the last year before I moved to Maryland, I performed and I sang Mary Mary. It was a different song, but I sang it at a talent show in elementary school. And remember, I didn't have any friends.
Right.
Do you know the reaction was so crazy? Everyone was like trying to talk to me and trying to be my friend after that. But I was leaving in like 3 months.
Right.
Why weren't y'all talking to me before? Why did it take me singing for y'all to start talking to me? That's rude. But yeah, that's when I learned the power of what I realized was my musical voice.
Oh wow!
So it's led me to where I am today as well. So.
Okay, now I'm going to take you a little bit through. So you go to Maryland. Your buddy lives down the street next door. His last name is Kuhn.
Yeah.
He's white.
Coons. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It sounds like Kuhn. It sounds like
it does.
Kuhn. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's a little white kid.
Yeah.
And down the street, you guys become really good buddies.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys buddies until?
So the end of high school.
Oh, high school.
Yeah.
But you had other friends too, didn't you? You guys picked up other friends because the place was really.
I mean, it was in high school that I started getting friends.
It was
high school.
Is when you started getting friends.
Yeah, I think that before that it was still like I did meet a few people, but it was still like a transition between California and Maryland. I mean, it's real different. But I remember all the people that I met in that room the first day, that first class. A lot of those people are still my friends today. Yeah.
Now, what class was that? Your homeroom?
It was Dr. Washington's English class.
Okay.
It was in a portable outside.
Okay.
So she taught like a lot of like poetry and like her class was real easy. But because all you had to do was be like, roses are red, violets are blue. I love life and you should too. And she said,
right.
Young man, that is so beautiful. We were just like, oh, this lady, she's so nice, but she's a little too nice. I'm like, we could do more.
Put a plus on that A.
she'd be A++. She's like 300%. I'm like, Dr. Washington, that's not possible. You can't give me that many points. You leave the class having more over an A. I don't know how it's possible, but yeah, she was really. But
she was a Southern Belle too. Huh?
She was really, like just so sweet. But she made it fun to go to her class because all you have to do is basically write poetry, and I loved writing.
How many kids were in the class? About 25 or 30?
About 25.
Right?
We were packed in a little.
Was it girls and boys?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it about equal or what? Or are there more?
Oh, it was. I mean, but I'm telling you, it was mixed. It was like white, black and Japanese mixed, Indian. Like that was the type of like diversity that was just in that room alone. And I think all of us remember that class because we remember that teacher. But yeah, it was really diverse.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so then you high school, things started getting better.
Yeah.
So what were the subjects you really started to gravitate towards?
Ooh, great question. I feel like it's usually like when you have a good teacher, that's the person who you usually start to gravitate towards, right? My science teacher, Miss Barris. Okay. We're still friends today on Facebook, but Miss Barris made me love science because she was such a fun teacher. People would take the time to make learning fun. I mean, how would you not want to learn more? You literally inspired me to enjoy it. So I still to this day, I just be reading science articles just because I just enjoy it so much.
What were some of the things? What were some of the stuff that she said or did that you said, wow, this, or something? She probably had a trademark that she did all the time that would get a giggle or whatever, and then she'd get you into the subject.
It was like, she would throw in little jokes, and she would bring, it was the fact that she made it real. That's what it was. She would bring in articles from outside of the classroom. I feel like I always had difficulty connecting to things that weren't concrete. But she would bring a skeleton and be like, and disconnect the neck and be like, this is the cervix, and I'm like, oh,
right, okay, weird. Never seen it like that before.
No, but I mean, wow, it's crazy talking about this because it's so true.
Yeah.
I ended up seeing an open heart surgery live, like really in person.
In her class?
Because she got me connected into the the medical institute.
Okay.
And then I think it was about 4 or 5 of us. Only 4 of us could go. Not everyone could go. And there's an observation room above the operating desk that I didn't know. And we're all up there, and I just watched a triple bypass open heart surgery. You can't forget that. They had to saw. I'm sorry for this.
No.
They had to saw open and it was fascinating to me. And then they also, right next to that, you could also see the recovery room with people who had gone through the surgery and that were recovering from their injuries. So and this is while I was taking an anatomy class. So it's the connection and the real. I'm seeing it before my eyes, so it really made me want to know more. Even though I'm not a scientist by trade anymore, I still love science in that same way.
So she showed you the practical application. She made it real, as you said.
Yep.
Everything, and you never saw it. It was always academic before.
Yeah.
It was something you read.
Yeah,
and you had trouble visualizing because you don't know what's this supposed to
math.
relate to.
Math that's kind of. I mean, math should be concrete because it's numbers, but it's a lot of theory, and I don't understand why I'm doing it
or how it's going to be applied.
And I think if I look at it again now, later in my life, I feel like I could understand it more because I could draw my own applications. But at the time, when you're a kid, I want stuff to make sense, and it's just if it doesn't make sense, I kind of just want to not do it or think about it.
So science, she got you involved in science. Was there anything else that you found interesting?
Music.
I know you loved music. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, I played trumpet for 8 years.
Okay.
I'm not good.
All right,
Don't ask me to play.
No.
Well, I'm gonna try and pick it back up, but yeah, always loved music, always. And so I played trumpet, and yeah, I mean, because of. I also did this thing called Jazz Singers, which is like a show choir, but I only did that for 1 year. I don't know why I waited, because I probably should have been pouring my effort into singing other than trumpet, but I guess I just was like, my parents told me at one point, they're like, I don't think they meant it, so it wasn't harsh, but it's just, they said, you should maybe try and do another type of field or job. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to do that as the main thing. You know what I mean? But that's an understandable fear for a lot of parents.
For anyone, yeah.
So I think I always had that. Singing is a thing that I've always loved and that I would do if I had the opportunity, because I know myself. I'm gonna start getting into college soon.
Okay.
Because my mentor used to tell me something. He said, success is where hard work meets opportunity. I've always worked hard. So all I need is the opportunity, and I will be successful. And I really believe that ever since wholeheartedly, because I look at my life and here it is. I mean, this is the manifestation of that fact. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't do singing more, but I wasn't confident yet.
Okay.
And I actually in middle school, I also did a performance. I just remembered. The first year I auditioned, I failed because I was too nervous, and I was like doing this thing while singing The Wiz, I was the scarecrow. I was a scared scarecrow. Okay. And so they were like, no, you can't join. The director was also a really strange, kind of rude man who was very like elitist. And it's crazy because if I look at who I am now and how like successful I'm about to be as a singer and stuff like that, I'm like, you probably should have put me in the show that first year, But it's cool, just eat your words. Because the next director accepted me. I faked being confident in my audition. I was not, but apparently it worked because they were like, why are you so confident now? Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I've just gotten stronger, I guess. Sweating. And they let me sing that year. And then if you're a veteran, you sing more than 1 year, you get a solo. So I got a solo the third year, singing "Try a Little Tenderness" by Otis Redding.
All right.
My grandfather was there also. The one I told you who was a police officer?
Right.
He was.
How do you feel? That's your father's brother?
My mom's. Your mom's brother? My mom's father.
Your mom's father? Okay.
Yeah. My granddaddy. Right. I was called granddaddy.
I'm sorry.
And he was like, oh, that boy can sing.
That boy can sing.
That boy can sing. He said, oh, hey.
So tell me, Mayowa, so after that, you loved singing, you loved science.
Yeah. A lot of scientists tend to like music, by the way.
Is that right?
It's like a weird proven fact. Like a lot of scientists also are like musicians on the side. It's very weird. Yeah.
So tell me, then you decided for college, had your parents already planned what college you were going to go to, or is it something you decided?
That's a good question
too. Or what?
It's so funny you asked it in that way because it's like, did they plan? And I'm like, dang, that's so true. So they're not like, well, they didn't. My dad's plan for all of us is you're going to go to college and you're going to get a scholarship, and I'm not going to pay for it, and you're going to go to college because there's too much money in this country for you to need to pay for college, was what he always would say. So I think we all kind of had that understanding. But my brother was the oldest, he kind of just had a different path. And I think that my dad tried to bash him over the head and be like, this is how you're supposed to be. And it didn't work because nobody wants to do what they're told. They want to do what they want to do. And so, I mean, that being said, I was a more subordinate child. So I saw the insubordination, and I was scared of the fallout and stuff like that. So I tried to be the goody two shoes and like not do anything wrong. So my dad wanted us to go to college, but I guess they were always open to letting us choose the subject we wanted as long as it was somewhat in alignment with like, as long as it's under this category of things, like, a doctor or like some sort of like worker or, like some sort of health something that can make money and you can start a family. Like that's the kind of, I mean, the intention is not bad because it's like he's thinking from his own perspective of he moved from Africa and he needed more money. He's like, I want you to have a job so you can start a family. But if I don't want to start a family, like what if I do something else? Like, can I be more free?
Did your brother start a family?
My brother did. My brother and my sister both are married, and my brother has 2 kids, and my sister has like I can't even count how many, like 7 or like.
Wait, by the same man?
Yeah, they have a lot of kids. They have a lot of kids.
What does she do, or what does her husband do?
She does real estate. I don't know what her husband does.
Okay.
But
and she's doing well, obviously. She has 7 kids.
Yeah, they live in like a humongous
house. So you've been made an uncle several times. I
have, but I again remember the fallout that happened. I didn't really talk to.
I don't know when that fallout happened yet. But okay, so we can get to that. Let's go to that real quick. So when you had a fallout with your mom, your dad, your brothers, and your sister, but didn't your brother have a fallout with your father?
It's, oh my goodness. Well, you're like, these questions are pointing on because.
Well, I'm listening to what you're telling me. So I'm trying to figure out. So he had a fallout with your father.
We have that's why he and I are actually really, really close now.
Oh, wait. He had the fallout before you had your fallout.
He did, yes.
Right? And then did he have to leave home?
Oh, yeah. He was homeless for a while.
Okay. How old was he when that happened?
He had like, I think he had gone through like 1 year of college. So I guess somewhere around like 19,
Did he ever finish college?
No.
Okay, so that was it. So he backed up. What's your brother do?
He does a lot of stuff. Like he's actually quite well known in the gaming community.
Okay.
And like he's
people making big money in gaming. I'm telling you.
He went to a convention recently, and they paid for his whole family to go to Vegas. And he's like,
people don't
look at me now. I told you I could do with gaming. I just needed you to believe me. And I was just like, I love that. I love people that go for it.
He's doing it.
He sent me one of the reviews that he wrote the other day, and I was like, this is amazing.
Now, how old is he now?
He's 9 years older than me, so he's about to be 39 next month. Yeah.
Wow, and he's killing it. He has 2 kids.
He's killing it. He has 2 kids, yeah.
Does his wife work? Do you know?
His wife, I actually don't know what she does. Yeah, I think that she probably, I know that she did. I don't know. I'm not.
But anyway, sure. So he had a rift with your mother and father.
Mainly with my father.
Your father. So he's out of the picture for a while, and he did his own thing. He never came back.
He did. He joined the military.
How long was he in the service?
He was in the Coast Guard for a while. I don't know how many years. Maybe 6 plus. I'm sorry, Morale. I forgot how many years.
But you used to see him come home in his uniform every now and then.
Yeah, because he was staying with us because he went to boot camp I think it was in Virginia.
Okay.
And then he was staying with us for a while and just kind of seeing what next direction he was going to go in and stuff like that. So.
And what about your sister? Cool. Your sister, did she ever have any rifts with your mother or father?
Yes. Yeah.
With the mother, probably.
It was with both of them. I won't get into the detail of exactly what it was, but basically something happened that they both didn't approve of.
Okay. And then did she leave after that? Did she have
I mean, my brother and sister probably been trying to warn me, even though we also have these like rifts and stuff like that.
Your mom and dad are going to see this.
My mom might. I mean, I love you, Mama. Just telling the truth.
Just look at the camera and tell her that.
I love you, Mama. You know I love you, Mama.
And what about Dad? Come on now.
I love you too, Dad. Yeah, they know. They know that I love them. They also have learned that I'm not gonna not be honest. Right. I feel like, especially out of the 3 of us, I will tell it like it is, or else, because. But I'm never disrespectful. I think it might be perceived as disrespectful sometimes, but that's not on me because I know I can rest with peace in my heart knowing that I've not been disrespectful by my standard because I can't meet everybody's standard. So I'm like, I just have that in my heart and I have peace with that. So, and I a lot of times I try not to really say anything. That's why I'm so vague because I'm trying not to step on toes, but at the same time, like, how can you have a conversation if you can't say anything? Like, I can't not step on.
That's not a conversation.
It's
That
not a
becomes
conversation. I'm
monologue.
like, I
Yes, a
can't
monologue.
protect everybody. I gotta speak. I'm tired. I'm like, no, come on, y'all. Let's just be real. Like, you know what I mean? So that's all that is.
All right, so tell me, so you got to college. You didn't tell me who planned for you to go to college and where you planned to go.
So basically, my dad's only rule is basically get a scholarship.
Okay, did you?
I did. So I got 2 scholarships.
Okay.
I got a full scholarship to an institute in Atlanta. Oh, what was it called? Morehouse.
Morehouse, okay.
Morehouse. You know Morehouse, right?
That's my college. Yeah.
Right. I got a full scholarship there, full ride. Mm-hmm. And they accepted me into a science program, but I also got a partial scholarship to the how can I say this? The father program of that science program. Like, they modeled their program after this program. Okay, at UMBC.
UMBC, okay,
right.
Got you, okay.
So this is UMBC is a very, very well-known institute for, like, I think it's the program that I joined, which is called Meyerhoff. I don't know if you've heard of it, but the Meyerhoff program is the #1 program in the nation for producing minority PhDs and graduates, like graduate level scientists in the country, probably the world as well.
So you got it. So you picked that one.
Yeah, I really wanted to go. Like,
and you did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was the best experience of my entire life.
How long were you there?
I mean, it was just a 4-year program.
You were there for 4 years?
Yeah, college?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you finished?
Yeah, I finished.
And you got your degree?
Yeah.
In what?
Biology, biological sciences. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So wait. So it's an MBA.
It was hard.
You have an MBA.
Master? No. It wasn't a master's. It was a bachelor's of science.
Bachelor's of science.
Yeah,
right.
a bachelor's of science in biology. It was hard. But I did it.
Have you used it for anything?
No. I mean, you need a degree in order to get jobs like in Japan.
I mean, for English or something like that.
Have I used my knowledge from that degree in a job, is your question?
Yes.
In a job, no. Okay. In life, yes, because of coronavirus right now.
Okay.
So I feel like I've been able to inform people about what is going on. Okay. Because I'm very well informed. When this whole thing first started, I was reading like 20 news articles, 20 scientific articles, not news articles, from scientific journals. Because I know, like I knew, for example, I can't remember exactly which mutation it was, but it was like 1 point mutation of an amino acid changed to this one, which made it more hydrophobic, which is the reason why like it was able to get into, why it was more prolific and why it was more contagious. I'm like, oh, okay, I learned all of this. I remember this from that one class, biochemistry, organic chemistry, and stuff like that I studied when I was in college. So I use that knowledge in my life, so I feel satisfied. I definitely don't feel dissatisfied that I'm not using that knowledge. But remember what I told you why I like science in high school. It was the real life application.
Because of your teacher, she got you involved. That's good.
So I don't think I had that real life application as much in college. It was just studying. It's a lot of studying. I have a lot of knowledge, but I've only been able to apply it once like this pandemic happened, and like everything that I learned now makes complete sense.
Right.
I'm like, I understand what I'm reading about what's going on with coronavirus. So
tell me, you came over here. Can you tell me why? I mean, you told me you had a rift between your parents. Can you walk me through that a little bit? Not what the rift is. I mean, if you don't, come out with that. But
yeah. I think I know
why did you decide Japan? I mean, out of all the places in the world that you could go, what made you say, I'm going to get away from my family. I'm going to go to the other side of the planet, and Japan's the spot.
Yeah. I know, because it could have been anywhere else.
It could have been anywhere. There's so many different. You could have just said, I'm going to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And stay there. Or I'm just going to go to another state.
Yeah.
Why did you choose?
Yeah, that's so true. I could have just moved to another state.
You could have moved to another area in the state you're in, and they wouldn't have known where you're at.
That's so.
So come on. What made you decide to come over here?
When I was young, about 7, there was a game that came out, Final Fantasy VII. My brother used to play it while he babysat me.
Okay.
And this is what he would say. He'd be like, Mayowa, sit down, don't talk. And we'd just play. And I loved it.
Oh, you played with him?
I watched.
Okay. Oh, you watched.
He would not let me play with him.
That's what I thought.
Because I tried to play with him, and I said, oh, Morale, there's a potion over there. He'd be like, get out. I'm like, wait. He's like, get out. get out. So I had to leave. He put me in timeout for like 30 minutes, and then he would let me back into the room. So I had to just sit real quiet and just watch him play. But it's weird because I never got any negativity from any of that with him. I just wanted to be back and watch. I did not care. You know, kids are resilient. So I loved the sound of the language. The animation style was something I'd never seen. And seeing like the emoji, the characters, you know, like I just really thought they were really beautiful and stuff like that. So I was like, wow.
Well, how did you know it was from Japan? What made you?
How did I know?
Nothing on there.
I think it was just kind of like. I think my brother and I always liked that in like Evangelion.
Oh, yes.
You know,
yes.
And I think that song is in Japanese, the opening theme. So I don't know. I think I knew it was Japanese. It wasn't Chinese. Like it sounded.
Well, there's a big boom,
you know?
in the U.S. anyway. People love anime and stuff.
Yeah,
so
people love anime.
You probably heard about it and you knew. Okay. That's
I was
Japanese.
like, because it's the sound of the language is different than Chinese, it's different than Korean, it's different than Thai, and you know, I love foreign languages in general, but there was the phonetic, like, you know, they use the same phonetics that are used in music. Ayudeo.
I was gonna say the same in Spanish.
Right? Yeah, and that's why I also love Spanish.
And that's why many people
Spanish.
that speak Spanish, if they speak Japanese, they do it without any mispronunciation.
Yeah.
They sound just like Japanese. And if you listen to some Japanese songs, quick, you think it's Spanish. And you can listen to some Spanish songs and you could think it's Japanese. If you don't listen,
Yeah.
if you don't really listen, you can mistake it for Japanese and vice versa.
That's so true. Yeah. And like I love foreign language, so my mom studied. I told you she got her associate in Spanish while I was in California. So you're starting to see these connections. Me seeing that and how fluent she's able to speak Spanish, and we would like sing in Spanish sometimes together. Okay, so now singing in a foreign language is something that I like, and seeing my mom successfully get her degree, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then I moved to Maryland, and my Spanish teacher nominated me for Panther of the Month. Our mascot was Paint Branch Panthers. Woo! They nominated me for Panther of the Month, which is like Student of the Month. And from that, I became friends with another person who was Panther of the Month, right? That person's mom obviously got close to me because I was always at his house. Like, this was my first best friend.
Okay, all right. Okay. What
Okay.
grade is this now?
This was, oh man, I think I might have been a freshman.
Okay.
I think I was a freshman when I got that. It's just, I'm so happy that I still don't know what he saw in me that made him like nominate me, but I'm so glad he did, because that made me get that friend. That made me love Spanish as well and foreign language. And his mom was family friends with no one other than Mr. Tolliver, the director of the Meyerhoff program that I went to in college. Yes.
Wow. Isn't it funny?
This is a book. It's gonna be a book. It's gotta be a book. It's too faded, you know. And then here's the part that I was getting a little bit emotional about was in college. The reason I was able to get through college was not solely by my own effort. I had people around me who supported me so much, including my mentor, who taught me how to believe in myself. Like I have all these quotes and things that he used to say to me that are always just stuck in my head. And sophomore year of college, he died on campus of a heart attack.
He died on campus. How old was he?
42.
He was a teacher.
He was the director of our scholarship program. So he like had an office on campus.
Was he married and had kids?
Yes.
How many kids?
I think like you had like 4 sons.
4 sons. Wow.
Yeah.
And how long was he your mentor? Just
those 2 years.
Those 2 years.
And look at like how much of an impact it still has on my life.
It's interesting when something's coming through you that's strong and you can pass it on. It has a lot of power.
Like, I want everyone to know that Mr. Lee said, what was it that you said when we were at the restaurant? You said, like, you said, the future is unknown, or like, the future is unknown, so reach for the stars. I'm sorry for messing up, because you're too blessed to be stressed. And it was like the timbre of your voice and the way that you said it really, really, really sounded like him. And I was just like,
was that right?
Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
Right then, maybe it's kind of like when you say stuff that's really true, everyone resonates the same way, because when truth comes out, it comes out in a pure form, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why I love working with kids.
Yeah.
They have no facades.
Yes. I feel the same way.
No facades. They don't know how to come up with anything, so they just tell you their truth. And you get around that. It keeps you humble.
Yeah.
Because you start realizing, look, that little boy in me that I still have needs to be loved. No one can love him better than I can.
Yeah.
And if I do that, I can share that with people.
Yeah. And I know today is supposed to be about me, but I felt that when I met you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I'm so emotional because it's just so crazy, and I'm so happy to meet someone that's like him. Yeah. The first thing I thought of when you walked in the room and you walked past the door, you said, "Hi y'all, how you doing today?" I heard that calming, like, you know, verbose, yeah, like voice of gravitas. Yeah. You know, not everybody has gravitas when they speak. Mm-hmm. That's so, you know, that I was already moved in that moment, yeah, you know, and I was just like, wow, you know, I'm like, he's so cool, you know, you know, I just was like, you know, you didn't even know that was going on in my head when I met you.
But the one thing I do know is that I asked Paula's daughter, when are we going to get together? And I looked over here and I could see that I said, okay, this guy looks receptive. You really looked receptive. I said, what about you? And you said, I'd be on it. I said, then come on here Friday. Yeah. You said, I'll be there, and here you are.
Thank you so much.
You never know. And first I asked you how long you'd been. I said, how long have you been in Japan? And you said 5 years. I said, I shouldn't even ask that, because you are in Japan right now, even if you just came.
That's so true. Yeah.
So that's why I retracted that real quick and said, you are in Japan, so why am I asking you how long?
Well, you're here now.
It doesn't matter.
Welcome.
It doesn't matter.
Like, you know,
Let's do this.
Yeah.
That's good. So tell me, okay, let's get to this part.
Okay.
All right, so you went through your parents' stuff, and maybe we don't have to get into that so deep. Now we'll talk about that during lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and your college and stuff, and the guy you had to. I was going to ask you this. When you first came in.
To Japan?
No, here, in this room. When you came in this room, you came in here with the ukulele. And you said, this is a part of my life.
Yeah.
I have to do this. And I said, wait. This is not a talent show. I said, this is not a talent show. This isn't the kind of podcast I have. Mm-hmm. Mayowa, you made me so curious as to what you came, you said, I have to have this.
Yeah.
I mean, you almost look like you're about to say, well, then screw it, I'm not going to do it.
I kind of, like, there's a moment, I was like, I want to be respectful, but I'm also like, I'm being serious. I'm like, please listen to me. You know?
Right. I want to know, because we're about to end this. Anyway,
yeah.
Show me what you're talking about.
Okay.
So what you're going to
help myself. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to sing the chorus. So, okay. すべて忘れて帰ろうすべて流して帰ろうあの傷は不つけどこの時遠慮もうどうでもいいの吹き飛ばそう爽やかな風と帰ろう優しく降る雨と帰ろう憎み合いの果てに何が生まれるの私が先に忘れや今日からと生きてこう Thanks.
Man, thank
you so much, Mr. Lee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
This was really awesome.
All of you watching this podcast, make sure you press like, subscribe, and remember, it's all unknown, so keep reaching for the stars because you're too blessed to be stressed.